to the Lavonda Ray, the Here and Now Show. I am your host, Lavonda Ray. Thank you. And if you've been a part of my Here and Now show, you know that this is a show where you can feel free to leave a question or a comment, and I will answer because I believe that all voices matter. This too is a space that I created where I took real life events and turned them into a positive living. So, with that being said, you guys know if you tune into me, I'm from the Midwest, the Show Me State, where we come in and show out. Gotta love your city. Hello, somebody. And of course, you tune into my show, you know that I'm a real getter for jazz music. It kind of sets the stage, set the moment for me. So with that being said, I'm gonna play a little bit of my jazz just for a few seconds before we start the show. Hello, somebody. Put on my jazz. Hello, welcome back, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Here and Now show. Today, I am talking about something real, something a lot of us struggle with, but a lot of us choose not to talk about. I'm talking about procrastination. I'm talking about that habit, that mindset, that sneaky little voice that says to you, you got a little more time or we can wait a little longer. But let me tell you something. Sometimes, one thing you know, you don't ever have more time because time doesn't wait on nobody. And not only I need you to hear this, I need you to feel it. Procrastination leads to no destination. You know, you can dream all day. You can make plans all day and night, write it down, talk about it, think about it, but still not move anywhere. Hmm. And a lot of us don't procrastinate. We just take forever and ever to actually be ready. You got the planner, you got the notes, you got the alarm set, you done wrote these things down 15 times. 15 times you done wrote it down and you still ain't started. And your journal's looking quite tired of you. Your journal's looking at you and your journal's yelling, stop writing goals and ideals and you never do it. So, but today we're going to shift that because procrastination is costing you more than you know. And I would say that again, procrastination leads to no destination. Procrastination is just not laziness. And don't be looking at me like that. It's just not laziness, you know, but it's the fear in it is fear in disguise. The fear of failing, the fear of failing, the fear of starting something that might not work. So instead of facing it, you delay it. Mm, you delay it. And procrastination is slick. It will have you doing everything except what you actually need to do. You'll be cleaning your whole house from top to bottom. It's spotless and clean, but then your purpose is just sitting there on what you actually need to do. It's just sitting there. So what are you actually, it's just your purpose is just actually sitting there and it's waiting on you. You know, you done rearranged your house and you keep strolling and watching TV and you're watching more videos. Now like I said, now your whole house is clean. But meanwhile, your purpose is still waiting on you. Hello, somebody. Like, let me tell you something. Me, myself, I was at one time I kept pushing something off. I kept pushing it off. Some things that I knew that I was supposed to do. Like I'll tell you one thing that I continue to push off, and that I'm glad to say that I got it underway. But if you've been on my show or listened to my show, a lot of times I air from the library or I air from home. Well, the times that I air from home, you'll hear this beep, 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 smoke detector. Okay. But procrastination is that I should have done contacted my landlord or even bought a light bulb. a battery to go inside the smoke detector. If I'm not tall enough. Procrastination is that if I don't get it fixed, something could happen, fire or something. So instead of procrastination, I actually contacted who I need to contact to get these things from beeping. So yay to myself. But I kept putting this something off. I knew it had to be done. I had the ideal, I had the passion, I had everything and all the tools that I needed to get started. But the next thing I started, a week passed, and that week passed through, and I would be like, oh, I'll just wait a little longer. And then a little longer came, and guess what? Time kept moving, but I was still standing. I wasn't moving. And then that's when it hit me. I had all the best ideas, and then I was thinking like out loud. I was literally thinking out loud. I was like, this procrastination is giving me no destination. And I need a destination. I don't like to just get in a vehicle and not know where I'm going. I'm, for one, is a destination person. But when I started procrastination, I didn't have no destination. And it was costing me. Every delay cost me. Every delay cost my confidence. Because every time I didn't do what I said I wanted to do or that what I would do, I started slowly believing that I wouldn't do it. And then I didn't follow through and I started believing those things and I started acting in those things and that wasn't healthy for me or for anybody. I didn't follow through and that can be very dangerous. So to prevent that feeling, I started actually doing what I said I was going to do. And it felt good. It feels good to actually do what you say you're going to do and stand on business or put hell to ass, as the new slang is. You do that, you'll be very happy of the results. So I was so much a procrastinator of my past that I needed a break before I even got started. That's another joke. I think it's funny. But yeah, I'm like sitting there about to get started, and then bam, all of a sudden I need to find something to eat. And then I'm like, oh, now I done got full. Oh, I'm so full now. And I think I'll just start this project tomorrow. And meanwhile, tomorrow's looking at me like, why are you keep blaming me? Like, stop saying you're going to do this tomorrow. Stop blaming tomorrow and do it today. Right? I mean, you can't do everything in one day. But that was another joke of mine. Yeah, I thought it was funny though. I mean, that was funny to me. I know jokes are not one of my best qualities, but that was a good one. That was an ass kicker. So but and I want to say it again. I want to say this loudly, but not too loud. For the people in the back, I can't see you, but I hear you. Um, when you procrastinate, guess what? You get no action, no movement, no movement, no movement, no change. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Like, what have I been putting off that might actually make my future better? Wow, like, what are you putting off that could actually make your life and your future better? That could change it for the better. You know, let me let me break. We about to break some bad habits. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm gonna break all the bad habits, but I do appreciate you guys, listening to me and going through this journey with me and perhaps breaking some of the bad habits that you may have as far as procrastination, because that is a hell of a hard habit to break. It is a hard mindset, because it becomes a mindset. Because, you know, oh man, I still sometimes procrastinate, and then I get up off my ass. And I'm like, shit, I'm being lazy with this procrastination. Get up and do what you say you're going to do because the end of results could be just beautiful, beautiful. And so, in order to start breaking those bad habits and that mindset that I had to tell myself, you don't need to do everything. You don't. You just need to start. You know, one step, one move, one action, because action creates momentum. You get that action in, the momentum definitely calls right behind you. You're not behind. And I always say that because I don't want you to think that you're behind because you are procrastinating. You're not behind. You know, you're not behind. I'll say that again. You didn't miss your moment. You're not behind and you haven't missed your moment. You just have to stop delaying your moments. You have to stop delaying. Now, let me slow down because this right here, this matters. I feel like that here's a reflection that I want you to hear every day. This is a reflection that I think that I try to stand on every day, and it's a reflection of me. And I hope that you guys can see it as a reflection that will help you. Every day that you wait, every day that you delay, you're moving farther away from the life that you actually want. The life that you're dreaming of, the life that you want. So when you procrastinate, you are moving farther away from that life. You know, the life that you want, the life that you deserve. And it's not that you can't have it, because you can have anything you want. It's not that you can't have it, but because you're not stepping towards it, it's you got to step towards it to make it happen. So what if I'll be like, I'm sorry, you guys, I put my glasses on and off because my vision is trash. I should probably wear glasses every day. Procrastination. Get your eyes checked again. Get some new glasses. You know, every day I'm working. I'm not perfect. I'm not. So that just me showing you that hey, I still have a problem getting my procrastination in alignment, but I have gotten better than what I was a year ago, than what I was 2 years ago, to what I am now. This new version of me, this new person that I had always had in me. And it took some procrastination that I procrastinated on bringing out the best version of myself because I knew it was there. But it's hard to see the light in you sometimes when life seems to be a little dim. So that it's hard to see the capabilities that you actually do have. And that was one thing for me that I struggled with. And I finally, as I started to get older and live life a little more, I started to be able to balance those things. And that is what I want for you guys. I want us to be able to walk together, to help balance each other, to go back and reflect on things that we used to do. You know, that's what I want, you know. But, procrastination, as I said, now that leads to no destination. I'm going to keep continue to say that because I want it to be in your head. Like procrastination leads to no destination because no one wants to go anywhere where they don't know where they're going. You want to know where you're going. But imagine what would it be like if you would have followed up with that first ideal, that first thought? What would that be like? If you would have followed up with that first ideal that you had, imagine that. What would that look like? Or now imagine where you would be if you continue to keep putting it off. Just think about that for a minute because the gaps, the distance, that's cost to you. That's a cost. And the cost is there's no procrastination leads to no destination. That's gonna cost you because you're not doing you're staying, you're saying. You ever heard of a kiwi bird? Kiwi birds, I was told. Okay. So if I'm wrong, feel free to challenge that because hey, this is a quote that I heard, a saying that I heard when I was a child, and I've always kind of lived by that. I've never even seen a kiwi bird, but I was told, kiwi birds, they're what you say, I'm gonna do this, and they just flapping their wings, gonna, and they're always talking about what they're gonna do, but they never fly. Don't be a kiwi bird. Do not. And some of us are kiwi birds and we don't even know it. So now it's time to fly, lift high, and put procrastination away. Because let's all say it together. Procrastination leads to no destination. Now, no destination is scary to me. I can't say it how many times. It's scary because there's no growth, there's no progress. It's just stuck in the mud. That's scary, right? Isn't that kind of scary? To me, it's scary. You know, um, but you got to stop giving yourself excuses because deep down inside, you already know what you need to do. You need no more time. You don't need no more time. You need more discipline. Okay. You don't need to get ready. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move anyways. You understand? Just move. You need to move. You need to move around. Make it happen, Captain. Never heard that? Make it happen, Captain. I heard that because it was another saying that I heard as a child. So today, I want us to do something different. Not everything different, but just something different. Take that one step. Make that call, or you know, start on that thing that you love. Start on it. You're good at it. I'm sure you're really good at. Like for me, again, another short story. I When I started this podcast, I started it because of I went through some life events that I felt like I could share with the world without feeling judged. And even if you did judge me, I really didn't give a shit because I'm without judgment. My spirit and my heart is strong enough to take criticism. Say what you're gonna say, listen and react. You don't always have to react, but you know um, that took me some time too. And later in my show, I would definitely have a conversation about reacting before you actually go through a situation because it's easy for us to chain react when someone says something bad or says something to disrespect us, and you feel like you have to defend yourself. But sometimes you don't even have to do that. You know who you are. And then sometimes it makes us feel better because you're like, no, I said what I had to say, and now I feel better. But it really didn't change their thoughts. You might have said what you had to say, but that situation, it didn't change. But it does make you feel empowered because guess what? You are, taking your power back by speaking your mind. You're setting your boundaries. You also are showing yourself self love and self progress for standing up for yourself because that is hard sometimes. In this time, it's hard to, um, take up for yourself and then also not procrastinate because sometimes you might know that, hey, this situation isn't good for me. And, quick story at one time, I remember several years ago, maybe about 7 years back, I was in a relationship. I'm not going to keep too much of you guys this time, but stories matter, right? And I was in a relationship with this guy. We known each other for years. We were friends first or whatever. And the relationship proceeded to be something. Essentially, it was supposed to be something great. You think you know somebody, but that's not the bone shell. The issue was I procrastinated in that relationship on my behalf because I seen things to show me that this relationship was not for me. That it was very unhealthy, unloyal, and I procrastinated on the breakup. And I think a lot of us do that, because I don't know if it was whether I thought this person might, hey, they might change or our situation may change, but the deep dark reality is that situation never was gonna fucking change unless I got the fuck out of there, which was not abusive. Let me be saying that it was just a lot of infidelity. And that weighs on your heart, and so in his defense, he would have kept the relationship going along with other people. The hell I look like. So the procrastination on his end was that he wasn't ready to, cut me. He wanted to still have his cake and eat it too. So for my procrastination, I decided, hey, yeah, you can have your cake and eat it too. Then one day, you look a little full over there. You getting your cake and you eating a lot of it too. So how about this? Let me do a couple things. Let me get the fuck away from this. because I started valuing myself. And I had put all that procrastination breaking up. I just went head first. This is bullshit. And once I did that, I realized that if I hadn't ended the relationship, I'd probably still be entangled with that relationship and still be trying to weigh out my options and still stay there at the same time. Ugh, not gonna work. So that was, you know, a happy, friendly story. But procrastination is the one thing. It can also become a habit. There are some things in life that people they come so accustomed to putting things off that by the time they realize that I put all these things off and I never did anything, it starts to weigh on you as well, and it makes you want to pick up the motion and put belt to ass and stop procrastinating. So, with that being said, everything that we do, there's a cause and effect. So always have your self love, always keep your boundaries, know who you are, understand who you are, because you're worth everything. Do not let anyone look at you and say, "Oh, you're not this," or "If you don't do this, this." No, 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 no. Don't do that. Again, procrastination leads to no destination. You don't want to get in a car with somebody and you're like, "Where are we going?" And they can't tell you shit. I don't know where we're going. We have no destination. Scary. So let's not do it to ourselves. If we could get procrastination and get ourselves in alignment and fuck up procrastinating, because we are better than that. So today I want you to just remember, if you don't remember anything else, you are worth trying again. You are worth everything. You are worth your opinion. It is okay to be different. It is okay. You don't have to take anything from anybody except who you are. Love yourself, and love will come to you. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm a person that's been through a lot of life changing events. And I just want you guys to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and remember that dreams do come true. They do if you take that leap of faith. And always remember and try not to forget, procrastination leads to no destination. You get that in the bag. I thank you all for being with me. Thank you for the change that I see in you guys. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for remembering to come into my show. And I will be back Thursday of this week. Hello, somebody. And we can sit here and laugh and have a good time and grow together. So, with that being said, please thank you, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, sat with me. And I think that this will be the end. Thank you. Here and now show. Right here, right now. Procrastination leads to no destination.